This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, good morning everyone. Guys, can you hear me? Can you please confirm in the chat box? Are you able to hear me? Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, all right, guys. So yesterday we discussed about we started with if-else conditions, right? So today let's try to focus on the nesting of the if-else statements and if-else ladder followed by loops. Okay, iterative statements. That's what the plan for today. Let's understand, guys. Let's understand better. Okay, I'm just going to define a new file here. I will see ladder first. Okay, if else ladder. There is a concept of what if else ladder. So what does it mean? So let's understand a small requirement. Based on that, we can see how it works. Okay, so imagine that I have uh, I have number of days. I have number of days. Okay, let me say. Okay, so I have a mapping of the numbers with the days. Okay, the numbers with the days. So here I have. So here I have the numbers with mapping. So 0, and this will be mapped to Sunday. A simple example, guys, not complex. So 0 is mapped to Sunday, 1 is mapped to Monday. Like that, I have a mapping. So 0, 1, 2, Monday, then Tuesday, like that. Okay. So 3 will be what? Mapped to Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday. And 4 will be mapped to Thursday. 4 will be mapped to Thursday. 5 will be mapped to Friday. 6 will be mapped to 6 will be mapped to Saturday. Okay, so these are the things, right? Saturday. So these are the mappings that I have. Okay, these are the mappings that I have. So these are the mappings that I have. Now user gives an input. Okay, user will give input any one of these number. Okay, user might enter 1, 2, 3, 4, any one of them. Okay, so then when user enters the number, then we have to print the corresponding day. Then we have to print the corresponding day. That is what our requirement. What we do now to fulfill this requirement, first we have to ask the user to enter the number. That is the basic thing, right? So what is the function that we have? Input function. The user enter any number, but there is a range, right? So in between 0 to 6, you enter any number in between 0 to 6, not more than that. Any number in the range of 0 to 6. Okay, so this is a number, right? So number, as it is a number, so let me convert into integer. We know this already. Typecasting. This is what the number I am getting from the keyboard. So after that, what I have to do is just I'm going to apply the condition, right? If the number is 0, then I want to print Sunday. If the number is 1, I wanted to print Monday. If the number is 2, I wanted to print Tuesday. So in that way, I have to print all this. What I can do is I will say just if number equal to 0, the number equal to 0, number equal to 0, then I would want to say, hey, it is Sunday. Okay, at the center. So you know this, right? We know this. This is what comparison. So this is an expression that we are giving inside the if condition. Yesterday we understand about the if condition. The if condition, it takes if, it can have any expression in between that. Okay, inside the if, so it can be any expression. That's what the syntax, right? If condition, then if body. Okay, condition can be any expression that will be evaluated to a boolean type, right? That will be evaluated to a boolean type, right? That's what we are trying to do here. So here this is an expression number equal to 0 that evaluates to true, right? So it's a comparison. Double equals operator is a comparison operator. It is going to compare the value that user entered from the keyboard with the value 0. If it is 0, then I just wanted to say, hey, it is Sunday, right? In a similar way, I had to do it for all 7 days or not. So I'm just going to repeat the same line of code for multiple times. Okay, but the comparison will change, right? So here it will be 1, here it will be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have one more 6. Okay, so these are the numbers, right? So are you guys following? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need to change this or not? I have to change this as well. So if it is 1, then that is mapped to what? Monday. That is Monday, and here it is Tuesday. Oh, come on, one is missed, is it? Oh, Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Excuse me. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? So this is what our day mapping with the numbers. Just a small, guys, this is just small example. We are trying to understand the if else later. So as part of that, just we have taken this example and just we are trying to understand. Okay. Now, is that okay, guys? Or do you see any issues over this, around this? Is it okay? So is it okay, or do you see any difference or any issues? Understandable?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let me run this and see the output. Okay, so just it is asking me to enter some number. I'm entering number 2. Okay, perfect. Hey, it is Tuesday. It is saying that. Okay, now I'll enter 5. It is saying that hey, it is Friday. Yes, let me run one more time. Maybe 6. It's saying that hey, it is Saturday, right? So it's working. It seems it's working for all the cases. Yes or no? Yes or no? Then if you see the same example, I'm going to write I'll write a new file, just a new file. Okay, so now let me have a debug point here. Okay, let me have a debug point. I think we have seen the debugging also, right? How to debug the things. If I'm not wrong, we have seen how to debug as well, right? So right click, but just right click and click on this debug if else later. So debug helps to understand the runtime or execution flow, how it will go. Okay, it helps in that way. So just say debug. Now the flow will stop here. So now it is asking to enter a number, because so that is the first line, very beginning line. So it will ask. Now I am giving number 3 and say enter. Now the flow is hold on at the line number 2 itself or not. As soon as I entered, So it comes to line number 2, but in line number 2 I have a breakpoint. In line number 2 I have a breakpoint. I have a breakpoint in line number 2. So here, from here I can drive the execution. Okay, from here I can drive the execution. So just click on this. So number value is what? Here you can see the variable value, guys. So here in the bottom area you can see int value. What is the value? 3. Okay, so 3 equal to 0, false, right? So the condition doesn't met, so it comes to the line number 4. It is going to check. So number equal to 1, number equal to 1, it doesn't match because it is 3. So now 3 equal to 2. No, it doesn't get true, so it will be false. It goes to the next if statement. It says that number equal to 3. So number is 3, right? 3 equal to 3. 3 equal to 3 returns true. So as it is returning true, so here it is going to inside and it will print, hey, it is Wednesday. Okay, so pay attention, guys. So we understand, we know that now my output is what? It is Wednesday. So user entered 3 and I'm saying that, oh, it is Wednesday. So my job is done or not? My problem solution is done or not? Whenever the execution is at this line, whenever the execution is at this line, so it's done, it's over. Correct? It's over. But if you observe, still it will continue evaluating the next line. If number equal to 4, why do we don't need this, right? We don't need this, right? We don't need this. Why? Because we already got our solution. We already said, okay, it is Wednesday. Then what is the point of still evaluating number 4 condition, 5 condition, 6 condition? If you have 100 conditions, it is going to evaluate all the conditions. So which is going to be wrong, which is unnecessary, right? Which takes extra time, extra effort. So that is where, like, we need to we need to have some alternative where I have got my output, where I have got my output. Just I wanted to quit from there. That's it. I do not want to proceed further. I do not want to proceed further. So out of these many conditions, if any one of them is satisfied and executed, that's it. So from there I wanted to quit. From there I wanted to quit. So that is where we have a concept of if elif ladder. Okay, so what does it mean? Instead of writing just if statement is execute always. Okay, so now I am just combining all these if statements as a single patch. Okay, single block. I'm going to combine all these if statements as a single block. So that is what how to do it. So if elif, so here by adding that L, okay, EL, so I am combining all this in a single group. So now all these if statements belongs to a single group. Okay, now see the same thing now. Execute the same thing again now. So just right click and debug. It will ask you to enter the number. Say I'm entering number 2. Okay, so number equal to 0. No, 2 equal to 0, false. So it will go to the next condition. Okay, if this is not satisfied, then it will go to this one. Okay, if it is not satisfied, then only it will go to the next line. Okay, so if it is not satisfied, then only it will go to the next line. Okay, if it is satisfied, then it will get inside, and yes, it is done. It is saying it is Tuesday, and as this condition is satisfied, it will never evaluate the remaining conditions. It will never evaluate the remaining conditions, and just it will jump out of the program. So it's done. See that difference. So it did not evaluate the other things. You understand? So that is how it is going to improve the, like, it is going to avoid unnecessary checks. It is going to avoid unnecessary checks. You understand the importance of this else if? So any one of at a time, any one of these conditions are going to execute. Okay, and evaluation also, as soon as it find the true case, as soon as it find the true case, it will execute that and it will come out of it. It doesn't proceed further. Okay, it doesn't proceed further. So that's how it works. That is what if else later I'm going to have. But anyhow, still this code has a bug, small bug. What is that? See that if I run this, it will ask the number. Okay, I'm entering 10. So then what will say? It's not within the range, right? I have asked the user. I have asked the user to enter the number within the range of 0 to 6, but by mistake he entered a number 10. Then I should say to the user, hey user, you should enter the number within the range, but you entered a number out of range, so that is not going to entertain. Okay, so there is no date mapped to your number. At least we have to give some message to the end user. We have to give some validation message kind of thing. Okay, so for that, what I have to do, is okay. Uh, if the user is entered the number 10, so it will try to check with this, no, it will try to check with this, no, it will try to check with this, this and this and this. It doesn't match with any case. Okay, if nothing is matched in our cases, then okay, I'm going to have a default case. So in that, for the default case, I don't need any condition check. I have tried all the options and at last only one option I have, and for that I don't need to again verify any condition. I don't have to specify any conditions over here. I'll simply say else. So I don't need to check any conditions because these are my actual numbers. If the user entered number is not in between these, then by default I wanted to say, so user can enter any number other than 0 to 6. Okay, so then I can say, hey user, please enter the number. Please ensure to enter the number in between 0 to 6. That's what I'm saying. The number is not mapped to any day. Okay, so here if you say 10, if I enter, it is going to give the message to the user. Okay, so this is what if else later. This is actually called if else later. And finally we'll have else, multiple else if conditions. Okay, so this is what called if else later. Okay, Venkatesh, so we don't have a switch statement here in Python. We don't have a scope to jump to the directly to a particular case here. Okay, so we have to go by this way. Guys, do you understand if else statements later? This is what if else later. Yesterday we have seen about the if condition. Now, okay, so Shavni, that is what I told you, right? So the use of elif, right? When you have multiple conditions to evaluate, not a single condition, you have multiple conditions to evaluate. Okay, then we had to write multiple if statements, multiple if conditions, as we see in the other program. But again, we have a problem in this approach. So unnecessarily, even though my condition is matched in the first line itself, but still it evaluates all the other if conditions, That is the problem with this approach. So that is where we have introduced the else if condition. So meaning that if this condition is not satisfied, then only it will come and it evaluates that. Unnecessarily, it doesn't going to evaluate all this. If the condition is met at the first line itself, first condition itself, that's it. From here, it will come out of the program. That's what I have shown with the debugging. So in this case, if I enter 0, after this third line, it will quit from the program. It will quit from the program. It doesn't execute further. It is not going to execute further. That is the advantage that we have, right? Ganesh, so can we use break after condition satisfied? And remember, so the break statement can be used only in the iterative statements. Okay, so it must be a loop. It must be in a loop. If this if condition is in a loop, then yes, you can break it, but not here. You cannot do the break here. Maybe you are trying to compare with your switch statement in other language, but you don't have that. Okay. Hitesh, no, syntactically we don't have that as like as your other programming languages. Maybe in Java you see this kind of syntax, but it is shortened here. Just you don't have to specify this. Just this is the short way of syntax. Okay, given in Python. So if you write else if syntactical error, it is a syntactical error. Python doesn't accept that. Okay, right. Any other doubts around this? Any doubts? Shravani, do you understand? Okay. Then we have a nesting concept, guys. Okay, nesting of equals. So nesting is what? Uh, like nesting in the sense keeping one inside another, right? So the syntax, if you look at the syntax, okay, if you look at the syntax, I have a if condition. If the condition is satisfied, then you come to here. So here, if body, as part of the if body, I will have another condition. Again, one more condition here, if condition. Okay. So here I can have this if body, and for this I have else. This is simple if and else when you have only two options. Okay. And this is else body. Here else body comes. Okay. This if else is part of this if statement. Okay, this part of if statement, meaning that if this condition is true, if the condition is satisfied, then only it will get inside and it will execute all of this stuff, otherwise it doesn't execute. And the equivalent else condition for this is this one, else body. So this else belongs to what? This else belongs to this particular if. You understand? So we are going to write if condition inside the other if condition. So this is outer if else. So this is inner if else. So what nesting? Okay. So we have um, requirements. We have requirements in doing this. Okay. So syntax. Do you understand the syntax? Just keeping inside another. So and you can go any number of levels, meaning that you can have one more if condition inside this if. If you want, you can have one more if condition inside this. No problem. Here you can have one more if condition. So you can embed, you can nest any number of levels of if conditions inside if, inside if, inside if, like that. Depends on your requirement. Depends on your requirement. Getting it? Okay, guys. So next thing is let's take an example of, okay, assume that, okay, so assume that you have taken a new geo connection, okay, geo broadband or geo sim something. Okay, you have taken it, a new connection, new sim card. So from geo there are different kind of offers is giving. Okay, there are different kind of offers is giving. So what are the offers he's going to offer is, okay, if you are, okay, if you are a new customer, okay, if you are a new customer, first time you are using this geo, if you are a new customer, then for the new customer he wanted to offer the free data pack for the first month. Understanding? If you are a geo customer, if you are a geo customer and you are the new customer, then I wanted to give free subscription for the first month, for the first month. Okay, otherwise, meaning what, if you are existing customer, okay, If you are existing customer, I would say, okay, you are not eligible for any offers. Straightforward, right? Okay. So what is the condition? So first I have to know whether it is a new customer or not. So I will ask the user to say that, to give me that information first. Hey, user is a new customer. New customer. Okay, just you enter yes or no. User just tell me in yes or no. Okay. So this is a string, right? Okay, is I'm going to take some variable, something like is new customer, something like my variable name is what is new customer. Okay, is new customer. I can give this kind of naming convention, the underscore separation when I have multiple words. So it is saying that is new customer. So now I'm going to add a condition here. Okay, is new customer really? Yes. If user enters yes, meaning that what is a new customer, right? That's what user said. Okay, then if he's a new customer, then I wanted to allow him. Okay, you are eligible for, if you are eligible for you are eligible for 1 month free subscription, 1 month free subscription. Okay, otherwise when I say otherwise, he meaning that he is not a new customer, meaning that uh, user said no. So he's not a new customer, then I will say, I would want to say, okay, he's not eligible for any offers right now. Okay, just I'm giving some uh, kind of message. So are you guys clear about this? This is straightforward, a simple if else condition, right? This is simple if else condition, and hope you understand. There is nothing complex. So now user is entering, say he's saying, okay, yes, he's a new customer. Then I'll say, okay, then he's eligible for 1 month free subscription, right? But my requirement is something like that. Okay, my requirement is something like that. Uh, okay, so not eligible right now. Okay, this is clear. Now my requirement is I'm not going to offer this for all the customers, even though he's a new customer. Even though he's a new customer, depends on the region, depends on the state, maybe depends on the city. I wanted to give a different subscription. Okay, so something like that. If he belongs to okay, let me, I have to read the location, customer location first. Okay, customer location, I'm taking the customer location, guys. Okay, what is the customer location? What is the customer location? So user will enter this. Now if the customer location customer location, okay, in these particular states, okay, maybe AP, maybe codes I'm giving Telangana. Then so I'm giving, okay, I wanted to give 1 month subscription and extra, I'm also giving extra, okay, data pack. So eligible for extra, okay, data pack of 2 GB. Okay, also he's eligible for what, 1 month free subscription. So otherwise, meaning that the customer, new customer is not belongs to these two states. So other states maybe, so if he belongs to Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or maybe Maharashtra, so any other states, if he belongs to other states, then I will say, okay, it just so so not eligible for additional data pack. Okay, you have just you are just eligible for what, you are just eligible for 1 month free subscription. You understand, guys? So depends on the requirements, so you would be able to think and use so the concepts. Now I have used if inside another if, right? So I have used if condition, another if condition, right? Correct. So hope you understand. Now let's run this program. So user belongs is a new customer. Okay, yes, is a new customer. Then what is the customer location? So I'm giving the location state, basically customer state, you can say. I'm saying that okay, TN belongs to what? Tamil Nadu. Okay. Now it's saying that okay, no, not eligible for additional data pack bus. So you are just eligible for 1 month free subscription. How it is executing? First it is checking this condition. If this condition is satisfied, then it is coming to inside this, and it is checking the location. If the location belongs to this state, then it is going to print this two statement. Otherwise, it will print this. If the customer is not a new customer, then all this code is not going to execute. Okay, directly it will come to else block and it will print this, right?
If you given okay, just okay.
Okay, so then not eligible for any offers, right? So actually in this case, if he said no, then there is no point of asking the location, right? So because my location depending on the if it is a new customer, then only I will have to check about the location, then I can move this to inside, so that it will ask the location or state only when he's a new customer, then I need the state, otherwise I don't need it, right? So this is the best way of coding. You have to look for the best coding, not just finishing it up. Okay.
If you given okay,
Now it is asked. So as I said, yes, it is asking me the state. So now I will give AP. So yes, AP is allowed. Is allowed for extra pack and 1 month subscription. Now I'll enter no. I said no, then there is no point of checking about the location. So I don't want to ask the user to allow the location. So directly I will say he's not eligible for any offers right now because he's not a new customer, he's an existing customer. That is how it will work, guys. So the if else statements, like very important. This is what we, without using this we can't write any business logic, any logics. Tell me, someone who is asking a question. What is your question?
if, if you given any other word or no,
Any
you given
other?
okay keyword like run that program. Given okay,
Okay, it goes to else block. Okay, but that's what.
yeah, that's the rule.
So you have to handle that also. By default, it goes to else block. So you have to handle that is a bug. Say if it is a yes, so then you should check else if, or you should check here if one more condition you have to add, saying that is new customer, whatever you entered is not in, so we had to use the operators. Okay, not in of the group, basically not in of the list. So here it should be yes, comma no. Okay, so if it is not in, so I'll just print okay, user, you entered a wrong input, please enter either yes or no, please enter yes or no. So just giving information to the user if he is given wrong input. Okay, just you have to handle it. One more if condition. I'll say okay. Now he say please enter yes or no. In that case, so we should not print this, right? So this you have to handle it again. So in the else case, you have to do all this. Otherwise, by default, it executes all this. So now this whole stuff belongs to the else block. This whole stuff belongs to else block, meaning that if user entered correctly, correct either yes or no, then come and do all this stuff. Now you
Yeah,
can see I have a
perfect.
condition, and then if we entered either yes or no, then I'm checking is a new customer, then you come and do this. So this is what we have to handle it. So it depends on the requirement, you have to keep increasing your conditions. That's it. So I have entered okay. Now this time I'll just say that please enter yes or no. That's it. It doesn't proceed anything further because user entered wrong input. We have to handle it this way. So if you want to handle even here also like APTS, other than that, so we are handling it. Yeah, this works perfect. Guys, can you go through the program once and try to understand? If you have any confusion, just ping me in the chat box. Just give me a second, guys. I'll be back.
If we have in other case like 199, 299, 399 pack, then can we give elif for that statement? Because at that time we can able to access any one pack only. So that can we give elif?
What was the question? I missed it, man. Can you come again?
In other case we have 199, 299, 399 pack like that. If we want to execute that at a time, we can opt for any one pack. So can we give the statement in elif at that time?
Yes, you can give. You can have if else if ladder inside this if condition, no problem. You can use however you want, depends on the requirement. You can keep increasing the conditions. Okay, you can do it. For string input, don't you have to convert the input to string? No, by default it is string. By default this is string. Again, we don't have to convert it. In the earlier case, as we need it, we need that value into integer, we have converted into integer. But here, I'm comparing with the string only, right? The s is a string, so not required. Okay, are you good? Any other questions, guys? So we can do many things, guys. So we have to be very clear on these flow controls. Okay, so if you look at the indentation, okay, see that from where this if we started from the beginning, right here. So you have to see the else block, which is starting at the right from the beginning. So here it is starting, right? So this is one group. This if and else belongs to one group, and this I have given one tab space, okay, meaning that this statement belongs to this if condition. If this condition is satisfied, then only it will come and execute this line. Otherwise it comes to here. This else, this whole logic belongs to else. This whole logic belongs to this particular else block. This is a single block. If this condition is not satisfied, then it is going to execute this whole. And again, not audible, Yogesh. Is that everyone, guys? Or only problem with Yogesh? He's saying that not audible.
Audible, sir.
No,
Oh, I think
is it
Yogesh, if
audible?
problem with you, you check with you check your connection, man. Okay. So it comes to else block. So here again I have a if and else. So if you look at here, I have one tab space. And what is the equivalent one tab space else block? So here it is started, right? So this is one pack. This is one combination. This is one combination. For this if this condition is not satisfied, then directly it will come to here. So because it is maintained one tab space. This else is belongs to this particular if block, right? Right. So here, if you look at, it is maintaining another one more tab space. All this piece of code. So meaning that this whole body from here to here, this one, okay, this much belongs to this particular if block. This is this if body logic, because all of these lines are maintaining with one tap space. So this group belongs to this particular if statements, this particular if statement. Getting, guys? Getting it or not? So if you have confusion, what you can do is maybe you can just arrange the blocks, okay, just for your understanding, but syntactically it is not right. Okay, so what you can do is so this is if started here, so this is started here and this is closed here. This is one block, and this is else started here, and it is come on, it is the whole is a single block. Okay, this is a single block, and again inside that I have multiple other if conditions. So this is started here and this is closed here, and again this else block is started here and closed here. Okay, and inside this if, again I have another if condition. So this is started here and ended here. Okay, so this is how the blocks will be. This is how the blocks will be. Maybe in other language you can see like this. Okay, if this condition is satisfied, so it is going to execute from here to here. So all these are maintaining one tap space for that particular block. For that particular block, it is maintaining one tap space that is going to consider as the body of that. Okay, who is that, guys? So that's what. So this if belongs to this cells. I mean, this is the one pack. This is one pack. Okay, and this is one pack. Understand? Okay, fine. I think you understand about this. So we have seen if else ladder and a nesting of if else statements. So depends on that we can use. Anyhow, if we are done with the iterative statements, yes, there in the iterative statement combinedly we can see more examples. Okay, we can see more examples. So here, let me take another Python file where I'm going to see the iterative statements. So iterative statements are also known as what? Looping statements. Okay, also call it as what? Looping statements. When I say loop, okay, it's going to keep executing the same stuff again and again. Say I want to print hello for 10 times. I want to print hello for 10 times. That's what. To print 10 times, we need to maintain the counter or not. Okay, I have only after printing for the first time, okay, my counter will be 1. After I printed second time, my counter will be 2. After printed third time, my counter will be 3, like that. Okay, yeah, again, so the example maybe you feel like silly example, but yeah, it's a sentimental and serious example. Okay, not a silly example, guys. So do you know Hyderabad Chilkuri Balaji temple, the famous temple? Most of you guys are familiar with that. Okay, if your wish is fulfilled, you have to do what? You have to do 108 rounds, right? 108 rounds you have to do your wish is fulfilled, right? You have to do this, guys. Okay, so definitely we will get confused because the crowd is like a huge crowd and we are right, we are doing the rounds, right? So definitely we may forget the number, how many rounds I have finished so far. Definitely will confuse. So to avoid that confusion, what they do, they provide one card, guys. They provide one card like this. They provide one card where they have printed the numbers from 1 to 108. Okay, they have printed the numbers from 1 to 108. 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. They will print 108. Guys, They will print 108. So we will take the card and we'll strike off every time. So I will check for the first time. As soon as I'm finished my first round, I will strike off this. As soon as I finish my second round, I'll strike off this. As soon as I finish my third round, I'll strike off it. And every time we will be checking, right? We will be striking off, and we are looking at, did I reach my 108 or not? So that is where every time, even without knowing or not knowing, we are checking this condition. 1 is less than 108 or not. Okay, no. So then I have to go for another round. 2 less than 108, right? So then I have to go for another round. 3 less than 108, yes, I have to go for another round. Like that, I have to do what? 108 rounds, right? After finishing 108 round, okay, so 109, when I go to 109, 109 less than 108, right? Meaning that what? I have already completed, then I don't have to go further any round, correct? So if you observe this condition, so the 108 is common. And in the left hand side, these numbers are going to change. These numbers are going to change every time. The round is common, right? Every doing the round logic is common. So this number is going to change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that up to 108 it goes. Correct? It goes 108. So here this value is going to change. As this value is going to change, we are going to take this into a variable. We are going to take that into a variable, something called maybe a counter kind of thing. So to counting, and I'm starting from 1, and every time from 1 to another number, so I'm increasing counter by 1, right? 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 1 4, like that I'm doing. So my counter value has to modify or not? My counter value has to modify. Okay, so what I'm doing, so here my counter 1, and I'm increasing the counter. What is my condition here? My 1 2 3, every time I'm checking or not, the less than condition, that is what my condition here. So counter, the numbers will be there in the counter. For the first time the counter will be 1, the second time the counter will be 2, third time 3, like that it will go. So my counter variable less than 108, because 108 is fixed, correct? So this is how we are going to play around this. So here, this is what my condition. If I'm using a condition using if condition, okay, if condition, and I'll say, okay, so do a round saying what? Okay, Govinda, 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 right? So we do this. Now, so this counter variable has to increase when I finish my round. So it has to be aligned properly. It has to be aligned properly here with the one tab space. Okay, guys. So if I do this, how many times it is going to print? If I do this, how many times it is going to print? See that. So it will print only one time. That's it. But I have to do 108 times or not. So that is what. Yes, we have a class tomorrow. We have a class tomorrow. Okay, so please stay back. Guys, we have a class tomorrow. So where I will be finishing this while loop and for loop examples. Okay, so don't miss the session. We have session tomorrow. We will finish. We will finish while loop and for loop, nesting of the loops, for loop inside for loop, while loop inside while loop, the nesting, and I will tell you some examples. So important session, so don't miss it. Right. So yeah, this is executing only one time, right? But how many times I have to do it? How many times I have to do it? I have to do it 108 times, right? So that is where, so if condition doesn't help in that, to execute this logic again and again, if condition doesn't help, okay, so I have to either write this condition 108 times, or I had, then what is the point of going with the conditional statement? No, right? So I don't want to repeat this, but I wanted to execute this for 108 times. That is where we need to know about the iteration or looping statements. So that is where we have a condition called while condition. While condition. Now, as I am using while instead of if, okay, what will happen? So every time, so it prints again, it goes back, It keep repeating this till this condition get failed. Till this condition get fails, it is going to repeat this and it will print 108 times. So just print the counter here. You can see counter value is changing from 1 1 to 108. Oh, it is coming only up to what, 107. What about 108? So then your next wish will not fulfill, boss. So you have to finish 108 also. Then what condition we do? We say equal to also. You go for the iteration where it reaches 108 times also. Now you can see it is finished the 108 round also. So like this, you can see that the while condition is going to keep executing the same thing again and again. Okay, it's going to execute the same thing again and again till the condition fails, till this condition get fails. Okay, whenever the counter value is 108, so it will print and counter value be increased. Counter plus 1, 108 plus 1, 109. Now my counter value is 109. So it goes back and check counter value is 109, 109 less than or equal to 108. So condition will fail, right? So this fails the condition. Then it will stop the iteration. Then it will break the iteration automatically. Okay, that is how it will work, guys. So that is how it will work. So for while condition, we need a initialization, meaning that where you are starting it. Okay, so and where you are ending it. This is the end position, this is the start position, and every time you are increasing the counter. Okay. So counter is just tracking, guys, to track it. So if I say okay, go and do this for 10 times, what you do, you have to keep counting it or not. Okay, so do this program for 10 times. I have given assignment something like that. Okay, or write C number for 10 times. Okay, then how do? You have to keep counting it or not to know how many times you have done. That's a counter. That's a counter. A regular counter. And as soon as you are done with one round or one time, you have to increase it. That's what I'm doing here. This is what my logic. Print statement is my logic, actual logic. This is the actual logic. And as soon as I finish my logic, so this is actual logic. Okay, this is the increment operator. So the syntax, if you look at while loop syntax, okay, so initialization or beginning point okay, then condition, then while condition. Okay, while of condition followed by logic, the body logic. Okay, then finally we need to write increment or decrement or not. Increment or decrementing the counter. Decrementing in the sense we can come from the reverse, starting from 108 and come down to 1 reverse order. Some people does that, right? So that is in that case we have to do minus. Okay, so this is what the syntax, guys. Okay, any questions around this? Any questions around this? So some people does this. So people will start with the 108. Okay, and now so here it will be reverse. Okay, 108. My counter is starting with 108. Now it should be greater than or equal to 1.
Sorry, yeah, 1.
So here it will be -1. So decrement operator. Now what will happen? The counter will start from 108 and it comes down. It print 108th round, then it is decreased by like 107. 107 is greater than or equal to 1. Yes. So it's just a reverse of it. Okay. So see this. So it will come down from 108 to 1. Okay. It will keep repeating it. 108. So here. The other set is like from 108, it's normal order. The above is like normal order. Both starting from 1 to 108, 108 to increment and decrement. Tell me, guys, you take a paper and pen. Okay, take a paper and pen and you analyze the logic by considering something like this. Okay, counter. Okay, here counter. So condition condition. Okay, you take this first. Initially counter value is 1. My condition is what? Counter less than 108, meaning that 1 less than or equal to 108. You take a paper and pen and analyze like this, then you can understand better. 108. This is true or not? This will be true. This will be true. Then it executes that print statement and then it increases the counter. Now counter becomes what? Counter plus 1. Now the value is what? 2. The value is what? 2. Now again it goes for the condition. It checks that 2 less than or equal to 108 or not. 2 less than or equal to 108 or not. Yes, true. Then it executes this line. Okay. And again counter will be increment. That is what we are doing here. Counter becomes 2 becomes 3. Okay, 2 becomes 3. Now 3 less than or equal to 108. 3 less than or equal to 108. True or not? True. Then the print statement will be executed. Okay, like that it will continue guys up to what? 108, up to 108. So then next it will become 3, 4, like that. It comes to what? 108 and that also print. Then increment 109. So 109 less than or equal to 108. 109 less than or equal to what? 109 less than or equal to 108. So here the condition will break. This is not true, right? This is false. So here this is going to break it. This is going to break it from here. That's it will come out of this while block and stops its execution. Okay, so if you want to take the counter as 0, you take it, no problem. So you take 0, then in that case here you have to remove this equal to, meaning that you are starting from 0 means you are going to 107, meaning become 108. Okay, so that is only the difference. How many rounds? Basically that matters. Total rounds should be 108. Whatever your starting position, that's up to you. So you start from 100 and then in that case it will be what? 208 and 208. So it has to count all 108. Finally it has to be 108. That's it. However you want, you take it. In general, people use it to start from 1 or 0. That's it. Okay. So if you start from 0, then you have to remove this equal to. Yes, counter is a variable, just a variable. That's what I told in the beginning. So that is going, the value is going to change from one iteration to another iteration. The value will be changed. So that is the variable. Okay, counter is a variable. Counter is a variable. So hope you guys are clear with that. Still, you have any questions? Guys, do you have any questions around this? Perfect, right? Okay, so actually, so we are just going through the basics. Okay, so I will give you more and more assignments. That's where you will be perfect. Okay, don't have to worry about that. Okay, guys, so tomorrow we'll focus more on this while loop. We'll discuss about the for loop and the combinations, for loop, while loop, and if conditions with for loop. Okay, all the combinations, basically all the flow controls combinedly we will talk tomorrow. Don't miss this tomorrow session. Okay, yeah, obviously for loop will be preferable. I'll tell you tomorrow. Okay, so for loop will be preferable. Okay, material, right? You are asking for the material, Shankar. So I'm sending daily whatever programs we have written, the notes, whatever I'm writing, classroom notes I'm sending, I'm sharing daily basis. So you should be getting it. Apart from that, if you are expecting a material, yes, we will share, but we need to check with our team. Okay, right, we'll tell you tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we have session, so ensure that you attend and you inform to your friends as well. Okay,
Same time.
yeah, same time. Why I'm removing equal to, because I started from 0. It's all about counter, right? If you start from 1, 0 to 1, there is one difference, right? One more round you are gaining here, then here I'm decreasing that equal to operator. If I keep equal, it is going through that 108 round as well, right? It is going through 108, starting from 0, 108 plus 0th round. So total 109 rounds it becoming, right? So if I keep equal, that is what the reason I have removed it. Okay. So take a small example and give it a try. Say I wanted to print hello for 2 times. So take a small example and you will get to know. Okay. Well, example. So so counter is equal to 0. Okay. While counter less than or equal to 2. Just 2 times I'm printing, right? So how many times it is going to print? How many times it will print, man? So it's starting from 0, it will print 0th iteration hello. It will increase counter equal to counter plus 1. It will increase and okay, it will print 3 times. It is printing 3 times, right? Do you understand? It is printing 3 times. It is printing 3 times. Now I will remove this equal. Okay, now see how many times it is going to print. It is going to print only 2 times. That is what. So it is going to reduce 1 iteration. That's the matter. Okay, you play by taking multiple examples and then you will be understanding better. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. So let's meet tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a good day. Hey Shankar, talk to our team, Career IT team. They will help you out. If you are not receiving, talk to them. They will help you out. You must be having phone number or a contact. So you contact them. They will help you out. Okay. Regarding the notes or whatever material. Okay. Perfect, guys. Don't you have number? Come on. Guys, anybody has the career ID number? Please press over there. Let me get it for you. You can contact to this number 9182 Yeah, someone has given. So excellent. Thanks, sir. That is the number, Shankar. So we follow. Like anybody who doesn't who don't know the numbers, please make a note of it and be in touch with them. Okay. That's all for today. Let's talk tomorrow. Bye bye. Practice this by tomorrow. Then you will understand the tomorrow session well. Bye bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you.